Hey folks, welcome back. Today we're going to do a little flight with a different plane that, other than the Cessna Grand Caravan, we're going to take a flight in the Icon A5, and we're here in Caticlan in the Philippines. We're going to just do a flight over to some resorts over on Boracay. We're going to fly past Shangri-La and also do a water landing on some blue water, which I've been wanting to do for a while. So. We're looking here at the Icon A5, which is a relatively new airplane. I kind of like to think of it as like a jet ski with wings because it's kind of small and it's a light sport aircraft, which is a kind of a classification for aircraft that are good for beginners. They are limited to visual flight rules as opposed to instrument flight. They're limited in terms of their power and also in terms of how high they can fly. So just a fun little airplane. A lot more expensive than a jet ski, but as you see when we get started, you're going to kind of see the comparisons there. So right now we're sitting on the tarmac here at Caticlan. We're going to do a cold start, and I'll walk you through that. Just kind of show you what it looks like here. Very cool little plane. Would love to have one in real life, but at any rate, we get to fly one here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So let's go inside. So you can see what's really cool about this plane is it looks a lot like, something you would drive down the road, or like I say, a jet ski. The instrument panel is very simple, very car-like in terms of the dials and such. Same with the seats and the upholstery and such. You'd think that you were sitting in a small car. But we'll go ahead and get started here. So the first thing we do is come up here and we turn on our fuel. Come down here, crack the throttle just a little bit. Check to see if our parking brake is on, and indeed it is, so we're good there. We go ahead and hit the master. The battery master's turned on. Things are starting to come up. We can see where we're at there on the nav panel. So let's go ahead and crank her up. Magneto to left, magneto to right, both, and start. Yeah. Cool, we are up and running. So I'm not going to mess with airport calls or anything like that. I'm just going to go, for a little pleasure flight here. So with that, we'll just fly a little bit from the cockpit itself. So I'll keep it on the inside for the most part. And okay, so we'll go ahead and take the parking brake off. Of course, this guy walks out in front. I guess he knows I'm going to be leaving here. That's good. So parking brake is off. Do a little check our controls. Everything looks to be working good. So I'm going to add some power. I'm going to roll over to the right and head down the runway. It is a small engine, so you kind of have to rev it to get going here on taxiing. Everything looks good that way. Usually you would stop on the hold short lines, but we're going to just go ahead and treat this as our own little private runway. I'm going to taxi down here a little bit. So like I said, we're in the Philippines. I was looking for a place to fly where we would have some blue water, and I think we might be able to see some of that here. I watched a little YouTube video on somebody else who decided to fly around. We're going to be heading towards a resort called Shangri-La, which is on the north side of Boracay, and it's going to be over those trees right there. You'll see here once we get started. So I think that's probably enough runway. So I'm going to put some brakes on. Get us turned around here. A little bumpy. Just kind of coast around this turn here. I think I might need a little juice. Get lined up on the runway. It's a long runway, so this plane tends to take off fairly quickly. Plenty of runway here. Okay, and we're lined up here, so let me put my parking brake on. Brakes on. So we're going to need little flaps. So I'm going to give in 10 degrees of flaps. I'll just do it this way. Yep, 10 degrees of flaps, indicating, and down. Alright, now this is an amphibian airplane. You probably guessed that by the way it looked on the outside. As you can see, we've got landing gear. We'll pull those up. And then there's these little sponsons on the side that allow us to land on the water. So, like I said, really cool little airplane. Alright. Go ahead and get started. I'm going to bring up my power. It's a piston engine, so I can firewall it if I want to. So bring that up. And there's full power. Release our parking brakes. We are on our way, folks. See, our airspeed is alive. That dial on the left coming up. Kind of like a speedometer on a car or on a jet ski. Yeah. And we're up. Bring our gear up. There's Boracay. We're going to be heading in that direction. So we'll get a little altitude here. Start our turn. Alright, so we're up 500 feet. I'm going to bring in our flaps. I see a little bit of sink. Used to be a pretty day in the Philippines. Come up to about 1,000 feet. Bring our power down a little bit. And we're up at altitude. Use my look over there. That's the resort area of Boracay. And I'm hoping we'll see blue water. I'm not quite seeing it just yet. This would be a fun place to go to, I think. I have to watch some YouTube videos on it. Yeah, it looks like a sandy lake beach, though. I hope we're going to see some blue water here. Like I said, I don't know too much about this. I only watched a video. I did come out here once before, and I was flying the Grand Caravan, and I actually landed on that beach on the far side. But it was an overcast day, so no blue water. So I'm hoping we're going to get lucky today and see some really blue, like Bahamas blue water here. But we'll see. Shangri-La is on the north side of the island. So over there on that hill, you can't really see it. So the window pillar there. But there's a beach, and what I saw before is that there were blue water on the other side, so hopefully we'll see that. And at any rate, we'll try a landing here in just a bit. So just enjoy the view as we fly over. seems to be like maybe that's a housing development or something like that in real life. All those little community streets there. So they said that's Shangri-La right up there on that hillside. And then we'll come around this side here. Go back outside for our turn. Slow down just a little bit. Change my view here. I'm not seeing the blue water though. It's still pretty. Now you notice with speed, throttle adjustments actually control our altitude. So I slowed things down just a little bit with the throttle, and then as we fly along, you'll notice that the altitude starts to lower. So as they say, when you fly, you control your altitude with throttle, and you control your speed with pitch. So as I pitch up, you'll notice our speed will drop a lot more. That's the dial on the left side. So our altitude does go up a little bit, but more or less that controls the speed of the plane, and then eventually one will impact the other, speed, the throttle, and pitch. So I'm not seeing the blue water that I was hoping to see, but like I said, still very pretty. I'm going to attempt a landing and pull right up to that beach right there. So we'll go ahead and we'll circle around to the right, prepare for landing. I'll put in some flaps and then come into the beach. Okay folks, welcome back. Decided that I was going to redo this landing here at Shangri-La, so I'm going to go ahead and get set up for that. I'm at 1,500 feet, so I've got some altitude to lose here. So cut my engine. I'm going to allow my plane to sink here, dropping pretty fast, about 1,000 feet per minute, but that's cool. And off to the right, this is where we're heading, to that beach right there. So this is take 2 on my landing in the Icon 85. Let's see how well I do this time. So, I'm dropping down to 1,000 feet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this path until I'm down to 500 feet. Drop the nose a little bit quicker. Alright, don't want to go too fast because we got to make sure that when I get to my altitude that I want, I'll have the ability to kick in my flaps. Since it's a pretty light plane, flaps work real well in terms of keeping it up. So because of that, I want to get down as low as I can before I kick in my flaps. So there's my target altitude, 500 feet. So I'm coming in, and my speed is low too. Gonna go ahead and give 1 notch of flaps. Got our visual reference of the water. I'm going to do a little S turn here, just to kind of lead off a little more altitude and give myself a little more run. See how well this works out. Still going a bit fast. Full flaps. Level out. Yeah, it's a little better. So not directly into the beach, which was probably a better move on my part. Bring our flaps back up. Just let the plane lose its forward momentum, drag on the water, help them slow down. Come in here. Let's see, I want to make sure our water rudder is down. That'll help. Yep, we can see that water rudder down now. Does help us turn a little easier. Sweet little plane. Okay, so welcome to Shangri-La. Normally, I would hope that there would have been a dock here or something that we could pull up to, but I don't really see one. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set up for water takeoff. So we'll go ahead and get a line better, a little more room to run out, and I'll pull up the water rudder. We'll head back over to Caticlan and try just a land-based landing as opposed to a water-based landing. So let's go back inside the plane. Go ahead and pull up our water rudder. Okay, we're going to do... Come on. I want flaps down. Give me flaps down. Okay, well, we'll do it this way. Like the little trusty button. So flaps are down, indicating and down. We can see them there. And there's our run out. So we're ready to go. All right. Let's bring the speed up. Just let the plane gain speed. That's about it right there, and we pull up. Rotate. Rotate means we pull back on the stick to come up off the ground or the water. Very car-like. Except for the flying part, of course. Alright, now with that, I'm going to bring in our flaps. Since we're up, flaps are up. See the nose come down just a little bit. And I'll bring our throttle back. Imagine that's a pretty place to be in real life. Pictures show like Bahama blue waters. Wish I could figure out why there isn't any Bahama blue in there now. So maybe it's a setting or something like that, or an add-on. But I'll keep an eye out for that. I might get that applied. All right, so gotta go find our airport. which I believe that's over there. Ah, there it is. Yep. Okay, so let's get set up for a landing. Wheels down landing. So let's bring our speed down, put in a notch of flaps. Yep, got our flaps in. How high are we? Okay, so we're about 1,500 feet, so that's good. You can see that by the altitude thing there. Altitude gauge, not the altitude thing. So AOA is angle of attack, basically shows how much pitch is safe. Right now we're at a safe pitch. If I were to pull up way hard, then that thing would go up, but it's very hard to stall this plane. They made it so that it could be a very safe plane to fly, which is good. Alright, so I'm cutting power now, because I need to get down there and get ready to land. So right now we're doing, remember I was talking about when you're crossing the T of the runway, that's called a base. So we're on a left base because the airport's on our left. So I'm going to go full flaps. Selected and indicating. Oh, and we need our gear, don't we? So let's put our gear down. Now when we do our approach, we're going to be looking for the set of lights. You can see those blinking lights down there. There's going to be a row of lights that change white to red. If we are above the glide path, or the angle that we need to be coming in on, those lights will be white. If all 4 lights are red, it means we're below the glide path. So what we want to do is we want to kind of come in so we have 2 white and 2 red. If we're doing that, then we're on the right glide path. And I am not seeing those lights yet. I do see the blinking lights. Go ahead and give it a little juice. So, okay, I think I see the red lights there. I think I'm a little low. There we go. It's a long runway, so we should be good. Alright. Ready to land. And we get into our flare. That's where I pull back on the stick. There we go. Nice. Not too bumpy. I'm leaning on the brakes. Bring it in. Kind of overshot the taxiway just a smidgen, but still okay. And we'll bring it up to, I think that little guy was on the right. No, I see him. He's down there on the left. So we'll go down to the air marshaller. That's where they want us to park. See him there. And I think he's got his sticks out. Oh, he wants us to come in that way. Got it. Ooh, no, wait. There he is. Sorry there. Yep, turning right. Thank you. And then when he crosses, we put the brakes on and stop. All right. Parking brake is on. So now we just have to shut things down. Easy to do. With this, it's pretty much just 3 steps. Turn the plane off. Get my, oh yeah, forgot my flaps are still down, so we'll bring those up. And there they go up. Okay, so now that that's done, we can cut the power. And the last thing we do is we shut off the fuel. Okay. Well, there you have it. That is a brief little flight in the Icon A5. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.